Friends and neighbors, hey, hi, hello, how are you? How's everyone doing? Jedi Phoenix with you here once again. As always, if you are new to the channel, I bid you welcome, and if you are a returning viewer, I bid you welcome back. Always good to have you here. Hope everyone's doing alright. So, yes, this time around I have a 2-for-1 special for you. Both of these sabers are from Sabertrio, so I figured, I haven't reviewed them yet, I've only unboxed them, and I figured with these two sabers, it was about time that I should do a proper review of them. So, before I get into them, a couple of things about Sabertrio as a company, for those of you who aren't familiar with them. There is a lot of hype that surrounds them. Since 2020, with everything going on, they are not open constantly, the way a lot of other companies are. They're only open at specific times during the year. And as you can probably imagine, this generates a fair amount of hype. Particularly if you follow Instagram or Facebook. They're always posting updates. Props to them for that. They don't keep anybody in the dark on anything. They give a full disclosure about how many sabers they've fulfilled, how many orders they've fulfilled since the last sale, where they expect to be, if they run into delays. They announce that. They're not, they don't hold anything back. But, like I said, there is a fair amount of hype that comes with the reopenings. And as a result, because they sell limited capacity of sabers, limited quantities, I mean, it's kind of a scramble, first come, first serve. I've been lucky twice. It does help if you have PayPal and you have your information already filled in. You just check out through PayPal and it's like one click, bam, all your information is already filled out. Credit card info is already in, and you just hit click OK and you're done. So that does help. Another thing that is a factor is what they sell. Sometimes it's only the NeoPixels. Sometimes they'll do a ready-to-ship event. And the deal with the ready-to-ship event is you're buying a saber that is specifically configured. You cannot alter it. What you see is what you get. So you're kind of limited to what they're offering. Not always a bad thing. One of the sabers I have here to review was from a ready-to-ship event. So, what else can I tell you about Sabertrio? Their customer service is great as far as returning communication. If you send them an email or if you reach out to them through Instagram or Facebook, you might have to wait a day or two for a reply, depending on how slammed they get, but they always reply. I have yet to ask them a question and not get a proper response on it. Alright. As far as the quality of their products, as I'm going to show you, they are pretty solid. The only complaint that I've heard, and it's not really a complaint so much as it was a wish, that they were open more than a few times during the year. But it's not hurting their business, at least I don't think so. And if it isn't broke, don't try to fix it. Alright? So do I recommend Sabertrio as a company to order from? Yes, I do. If you talk to almost anybody in this community, in the lightsaber community, I mean, they'll probably tell you the same thing. Sabertrio is one of those companies that you can order from in confidence, or with confidence. Alright? The trick is getting your order to go through. So hopefully the times will change when they're able to be open more consistently. We gotta wait and see what happens. Alright? But on to the sabers. So we're gonna start off with the Vahlken. Let me show it off before I go into the particulars. This is a really good saber to get in terms of an overall model. I'm not going to turn it on just yet. This is the saber that I got from the Ready to Ship event. And it is baselit. It's a sound saber, but it is baselit. It's not NeoPixel. This particular saber uses the Pico Crumble board. And the Pico Crumble board, it allows for a more budget-friendly saber than, say, one of the NeoPixels. Alright. The thing with Pico Crumble is you have two different options as far as the sound. You go either the light side or a dark side font. This particular one happens to be the light side. And you cannot change the font, you cannot alter it, you cannot add fonts to it. It is one font only. That's something to consider. Okay? Also, this does not have smooth swing. It does have a motion sound, but you really gotta swing it in order to hear the sound. Which I'll demonstrate for you in a minute. There's a reason I have this in deep sleep mode. In a way, the Pico Crumble is comparable in some ways to the Obsidian board from Ultra Sabers, in that you have the startup, you have the shutdown, you have swing effects, clash effect. There is no blaster effect on this. You know, the blaster bolt deflection. And, you know, like I said, like with the Obsidian, there's no smooth swing. There are two differences, though, with the Pico Crumble. What Pico Crumble has that Obsidian doesn't. With the Pico Crumble, you do have a deep sleep option. With the Obsidian, it's always in a state of readiness, I guess you could say, so that it's ready to be activated at a moment's notice. The drawback for that is because it is in that standby state, it's always drawing a little bit of juice from the battery, so the battery will deplete over time. Whereas in deep sleep mode, prevents that, so you get a little bit more life out of your battery. And another thing that Pico Crumble does have that the Obsidian doesn't, and this is a major advantage, even though you can't change the font, you can change the color. You don't have to hook it up to a computer or anything. You can do it all through the hilt. How you do that is, you have to have it in deep sleep mode, which is why I left it there. You have to hold down the ignition button for a few seconds until you hear 3 beeps, like this. Kind of loud, as you can hear. So, this, of course, turns your blade on, and then you just push the button to select the color that you want. We'll stick with blue. Alright. When you have the color you want, you hold down the button again. There's your selection. And then, to wake it up, you just have to tap the button. And See what I mean by no smooth swing? You do get some swing action, and of course, you get the clash. There is what looks like a second button, but that is, on this one it doesn't work. This would be if you had a NeoPixel with a dual button function. Alright? And then of course to turn it off, you hold it down for a second. So, the hilt itself, fantastic. I have sparred with this. At no point did I feel like the blade was going to come out. Nothing shaking inside. The construction is solid. That's another thing about Sabertrio, is they use a chassis. Their installs are very solid. You know, no complaints there. The hilt is very comfortable in the hand. I think right about there is an ideal choke point for your spinning. You could hold it right there, but that groove is a little bit better made for it, I think. As for the Pico Crumble, I would consider it an option if you're looking for something budget friendly. You know, I know some people, they might get like the stunt saber and then just gut it and do their own install on it. To me, Pico Crumble isn't bad at all. Alright, I've said it before. I still have a bunch of, I haven't ordered from Ultra Sabers lately, but I have a bunch of their sabers that I like. And they don't have smooth swing, and it never bothered me. So if I complain about no smooth swing on this saber, it's going to be pretty hypocritical. Okay. So if you're looking for a budget-friendly from Sabertrio, yeah, with sound, it is something to consider. All right. I wouldn't mind having another Pico Crumble saber for them, actually. I got my on the Vectra as another one for dueling purposes, you know, because I did have a lot of fun with this one. So, the overall hilt, highly recommended. For the Pico Crumble, that's up to you. All right. It is something to consider. Okay. I'll fire this up one more time so you can see it in action. Again, windows in the emitter. It's always a win for me. There's a little bit of a pulse action on the blade too. I don't know if the camera's picking that up well enough, but solid. All right. So that's the Vahlken. The other saber that I have from Sabertrio was actually the first one that I ordered back in March. This is, excuse me, this is the Reaver. And I gotta tell you, like the Vahlken, this has got a real nice design to it. No rough spots at all on the hilt. Right here is a decent choke point. I haven't dueled with this. This is a NeoPixel. The blade is not a heavyweight blade. It's like a mid-grade quality. I prefer spinning with NeoPixels and I duel with a bracelet. But as far as spinning with this, no sharp edges, no rough spots. The claws here, it's smooth and rounded. Let me see if I can get a read on that. You're not going to catch your fingers on anything. I haven't had a problem with this. And of course, because this is NeoPixel, gotta wake it up. I did get an illuminated switch on this one. You can hear the smooth swing on this one. This is a CFX, so it does have the second button. Back up a little bit so you can see the full length of the blade. There we go. As far as NeoPixel options, they offer CFX and they also offer Profi. Whichever one you get, that's up to you. Some people prefer Profi, others prefer CFX. The thing with the Profi is I'm not really a programmer, so I don't worry about blade styles. I'm more about just adding fonts, and CFX I think is a little bit more simpler when it comes to adding fonts over Profi. So let me show you a couple of fonts on here though.
Sound bank selection. Sabertrio. Exit menu. Sabertrio.
Fourth edition.
I'll have to do a separate video of a demo for the fonts that came on here. Because it is a CFX board, some of the fonts on here are the same as on the Darkstorm that I have. But Darkstorm's baselit, this is NeoPixel, so there is a bit of a different effect with the startups. I'll do one more font for you.
Sound bank selection.
Fourth edition.
Sabertrio.
Oh, going backwards, hold on.
Fourth edition.
Light.
Very easy to spin, like I said. Choke point right there. Again, the windows. And I do love that illuminated switch too. So as far as charging it, there's access to the board. There's your recharge port. They do also send different adapters for the plug, depending on where you live, the region you live, electrical outlets. So they send different adapters for plugging it in, which I think is rather nice. It's kind of a one-stop thing. And they don't charge you extra for it. It's, at the worst, it's factored into the cost. So, but yes, a duo of excellence, if you will, and I do plan on adding at least a couple more over time. So again, I do recommend these two models for sure. And of course, Sabertrio as a whole. Definitely check them out. And if you have a question, ask them. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. You'll always get updates. Alright. But that will do it for this video. I do thank you for watching, as always. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. That way you don't miss anything I got coming down the road. As always, until the next video, please be good, be well, be safe, and be happy.